Welcome to Biochemistry DSP channel. In this video, I'll be discussing about biosynthesis of cholesterol. Structure of cholesterol. The molecular formula for cholesterol is C27H46O. It has got one hydroxyl group at C3 and a double bond between carbon 5 and carbon 6. It also got 8 carbon aliphatic side chain which is attached to carbon 17. Cholesterol has got totally 5 methyl groups. So the ring structure present in cholesterol is cyclopentanoperhydrophenanthrene ring system, ABCD ring system. Okay, this is about the structure of cholesterol. The primary site for the synthesis of cholesterol is liver. About 1 gram per day will be synthesized in the liver. The secondary sites includes adrenal cortex, ovaries and testes. The precursor for the synthesis of cholesterol is acetyl-CoA. Uh, Actually, from two sources we get cholesterol. That is mainly through exogenous source and endogenous source. So exogenous source includes the dietary cholesterol, whatever we obtain from the food substance. Okay, the meat, egg yolk, butter, milk, cream, and all these things are rich in cholesterol. Egg yolk is very good in cholesterol. Endogenous source, this is about the de novo synthesis of cholesterol. Okay, so cholesterol is also synthesized in our body. About 1 gram of cholesterol per day will be synthesized in the liver. The main precursor is acetyl CoA. The 5 stages which are involved in cholesterol biosynthesis is: first is the formation of HMG CoA. The second stage is formation of mevalonate, 6 carbon compound mevalonate, and conversion of this mevalonate into a 5 carbon compound isoprenoid unit. From this isoprenoid unit we get the parent compound squalene, 30 carbon compound squalene. Then I have to convert this squalene into cholesterol, 27 carbon. So the first step is the formation of this HMG CoA. So for the formation of HMG CoA, the precursor which is involved is acetyl CoA. So we two molecules of acetyl CoA will be condensed in the presence of the enzyme thiolase to form acetoacetyl CoA. Then again this acetoacetyl CoA will react with one more acetyl CoA in the presence of the enzyme HMG CoA synthase to form HMG CoA, 3-hydroxy 3-methyl glutaryl CoA. So this is the first stage in the biosynthesis of cholesterol. The second stage, we are going to get mevalonate from HMG CoA. So from HMG CoA, uh, this HMG CoA can be reduced in the presence of the enzyme HMG CoA reductase to be converted into mevalonate, a 6 carbon compound mevalonate. This is a rate limiting enzyme. This enzyme HMG CoA reductase can be inhibited with the help of statins. Okay, all the statin drugs like simvastatin, levastatin, novastatin, all the statin drugs will go and inhibit this HMG CoA reductase, and it will also be inhibited by feedback regulation, like the formation of mevalonate. Excess of mevalonate is formed means it will go and inhibit this enzyme HMG CoA reductase and the products which are derived from this cholesterol. Okay, finally we get the product as cholesterol, and from cholesterol we can get bile acid. So all these products also can like through feedback inhibition, it can inhibit the enzyme HMG CoA reductase. So it's a rate limiting step in cholesterol biosynthesis. Next is the formation of isoprenoid unit, 5 carbon compound isoprenoid unit. Okay, through a series of 4 reactions, that is we can convert this mevalonate into one isoprenoid unit. So this mevalonate will be phosphorylated thrice. Okay, 3 times it will be phosphorylated, and it will undergo decarboxylation to be finally it will be converted into an isoprenoid unit. So this mevalonate will be phosphorylated thrice to yield. So first phosphorylation step. So when you phosphorylate this mevalonate with the help of ATP to ADP in the presence of the enzyme mevalonate kinase, it will be converted into mevalonate 5-phosphate. So the fifth carbon atom will be phosphorylated. So mevalonate 5-phosphate you get. Then again phosphorylation of this mevalonate 5-phosphate will convert this mevalonate 5-phosphate into mevalonate 5-diphosphate. So the same fifth in the same fifth position two phosphates. So one more phosphate is attached. So two phosphates are present in the same carbon atom. Hence it is called as mevalonate 5-diphosphate. Then again third time we are going to phosphorylate this mevalonate 5-phosphate. So the third position also will be phosphorylated. Okay. So this is first carbon, second carbon, third, fourth and fifth carbon, 5 carbon atoms. So in the third phosphorylation step, we get mevalonate 3-phospho. Okay, mevalonate 3-phospho 5-diphosphate. So this is the product we get from the phosphorylation steps of mevalonate. Okay, 3-phospho 5-pyrophospho mevalonate. You can call it as 3-phospho 5-pyrophospho mevalonate or mevalonate 3-phosphodiphosphate. Then this mevalonate 3-phosphodiphosphate will undergo decarboxylation. Okay, it will undergo decarboxylation. That means removal of CO2 to be converted into a 5-carbon compound, the isoprenoid unit isopentenyl diphosphate. Okay, so isopentenyl pyrophosphate or isopentenyl diphosphate. So on this third position phosphate is also released during this decarboxylation step, and CO2 is also released. So from 6 carbon this mevalonate will be converted into a 5-carbon compound, isoprenoid compound isopentenyl diphosphate. Okay, so we got the product, the third stage formation of isoprenoid unit. So isopentenyl diphosphate is formed. Now this isopentenyl 5-phosphate will undergo isomerization. Okay, it will undergo isomerization in the presence of the enzyme isopentenyl diphosphate isomerase. Okay, to form another product called 3,3-dimethyl allyl pyrophosphate or 3,3-dimethyl allyl diphosphate. Okay, so we got the product from isopentenyl diphosphate. We got the product as 3,3-dimethyl allyl pyrophosphate. Now this from this using this isoprenoid units, you can get the parent compound squalane, 30 carbon compound squalane. Through a series of 3 reactions, we will get the 6 isoprenoid units. Okay, uh, that is this isopentenyl diphosphate will combine with this 3,3-dimethyl allyl diphosphate to form a compound called geranyl pyrophosphate. Okay, it will so 5 plus 5. This isopentenyl pyrophosphate is a 5-carbon compound. This 3,3-dimethyl allyl pyrophosphate is another 5-carbon compound. So both these carbon compounds will combine together to form a 10-carbon compound called geranyl pyrophosphate. Okay, we got geranyl pyrophosphate which is 10 carbon. Then again this geranyl pyrophosphate will react with one more isopentenyl pyrophosphate. Okay, this geranyl pyrophosphate, this is a 10 carbon compound which will combine with a 5 carbon compound isopentenyl diphosphate, so that the product will be a 15 carbon farnesyl pyrophosphate or farnesyl diphosphate. Okay, so from mevalonate, which is 5 carbon, we got 6 carbon. Okay, mevalonate is a 6 carbon compound. From this 6 carbon compound, we got a 5 carbon compound isoprenoid unit called isopentenyl pyrophosphate. From this isopentenyl pyrophosphate, we got 3,3-dimethyl allyl pyrophosphate with the help of the enzyme isopentenyl pyrophosphate isomerase. Now these two compounds, isoprenoid units, will combine together to form a 10 carbon unit called geranyl pyrophosphate or geranyl diphosphate. Again, this 10 carbon compound, geranyl diphosphate, will combine with one more isopentenyl diphosphate to be converted into a 15 carbon compound called farnesyl diphosphate. Now, two molecules of this farnesyl diphosphate will unite together in the presence of the enzyme called squalene synthetase. Okay, in the presence of the enzyme squalene synthetase, two molecules of farnesyl pyrophosphate will condense together to form the parent compound squalene. So from this isoprenoid unit we got squalene. Okay, the formation of this geranyl pyrophosphate will be catalyzed with the help of the enzyme called cis-prenyl transferase. Again, the same enzyme cis-prenyl transferase will convert this geranyl pyrophosphate into farnesyl pyrophosphate. Okay, from farnesyl pyrophosphate with the help of the enzyme squalene synthetase, it will utilize NADPH, which will be converted into NADP plus. Finally, we get the product as squalene. Now, this squalene will undergo cyclization. Okay, it will undergo cyclization in the presence of the enzyme called squalene epoxide to form. It will undergo oxidation as well as cyclization. Okay, this squalene in the presence of the enzyme squalene epoxidase, it will be converted into squalene epoxide. Okay, there is no ring closure here in the squalene epoxide. If you see the structure of this squalene epoxide, there is no closure of ring. Okay, now it will undergo cyclization where you can see the ring closure reactions occurs to convert this squalene epoxide into a lanosterol. Okay, this is an intermediate step, unstable step. This squalene epoxide is a unstable intermediate which will undergo cyclization immediately to be converted into lanosterol. Then from lanosterol, so this squalene is a 30 carbon compound. Again, lanosterol is also a 30 carbon compound. Now from lanosterol we get cholesterol, 27 carbon cholesterol, in a multi-step process which includes about 20 different reactions. Okay, so many reactions will take place from to convert this lanosterol into cholesterol. So from lanosterol we get 14 desmethyl lanosterol. So some rearrangements will occur. Okay, lanosterol is a 30 carbon compound whereas cholesterol is a 27 carbon compound. So you have to remove 3 carbon atoms as well as the when you see the double bond. Okay, for cholesterol in the third position hydroxy OH group should be present and the double bond should be present in the fifth carbon and sixth carbon, whereas in the lanosterol it's not like that. The double bond is present in the seventh and eighth carbon as well as it is also present between the 24th and 25th carbon. A double bond is present, so you have to reduce all these double bonds and you have to remove the extra methyl groups which is present in the lanosterol. Okay, so from lanosterol if you remove that 14th methyl group, 14th carbon has got a methyl group. If you remove that 14th carbon methyl group, it will become 14 desmethyl lanosterol. Okay, 14 desmethyl lanosterol. And to convert this 14 desmethyl lanosterol into zymosterol, we have to remove this fourth carbon. It has got two more methyl groups. If you remove that methyl groups, it will become zymosterol. Okay, the formula will become zymosterol. Then from zymosterol, so the three carbon atoms, the extra carbon atoms from C2030, okay, we have removed the three methyl groups, so it becomes C27 now. Now, zymosterol, from zymosterol, it will undergo isomerization, that is, bond which is present in the seventh and eighth will be turned into the bond position will change. Some rearrangements in the bond position will take place and it will form delta 724. Okay, the bond which is present between 8th and ninth carbon will be shifted to 7th and 8th carbon. Okay, in lanosterol you can find a double bond in the 8th and ninth position. So from this 8th and ninth carbon position, double bond will be undergo isomerization. It will be shifted to 7th and 8th carbon atom. Okay, so it will form delta 7 and 24. So delta 724 means a double bond is present between the 7th and 8th as well as between the carbon 24 and 25 to form delta 724 cholesterol dienol. So from zymosterol you get delta 724 cholesterol dienol. From this you get the product as desmosterol. So in desmosterol the carbon has been, double bond has been shifted to fifth and sixth. It is called desmosterol. Why means The structure is similar to cholesterol except the 24th carbon. So if the 24th and 25th carbon is not having the double bond, means it will become the cholesterol. So hence the product is called desmosterol, or it is called as 24 dehydrocholesterol. Okay, so you have to reduce this with the help of the enzyme. This double bond is reduced in the presence of the enzyme delta 24 reductase. Okay, delta 24 reductase to be converted this, so that this desmosterol is converted into cholesterol. So when you see the structure of cholesterol, it has got OH bond in the OH group in the third carbon, fifth and sixth carbon has got a double bond, and a aliphatic chain which is present in the 8 carbon aliphatic chain is present in the 17th carbon, and 5 methyl atoms is also present in the cholesterol. Okay, so this is the biosynthesis of cholesterol. So, cholesterol biosynthesis can be inhibited by hypolipidemic drugs like statins, lovastatin, metastatin. Okay, all the statin drugs will reduce the serum cholesterol level in the patients who suffer from hypercholesterolemia. This, lovastatin is a very good drug to lower the cholesterol level in patients with familial hypercholesterolemia. So, this is about the biosynthesis of cholesterol. And when you see the regulation of cholesterol biosynthesis, the main key enzyme is HMG-CoA reductase. Okay, the active enzyme is HMG-CoA reductase is a enzyme which will be inhibited by either feedback inhibition or uh, sterol mediated regulation by transcription or by the mode of drugs also. Okay, so drugs means lovastatin, metastatin, which are competitive inhibitors for this enzyme HMG CoA reductase. So it can be inhibited in that way, or through feedback regulation, means the products like bile acids, cholesterol and mevalonate also can go and inhibit this enzyme directly, so that it can be inhibited by through feedback mechanism, or it can also be inhibited through hormonal regulation by glucagon and insulin. Okay, so this HMG CoA will occurs exist in two forms. One is the active form, one is the inactive form. So the phosphorylated form is inactive form, and the dephosphorylated form of this enzyme HMG CoA is the active form. So you have to remember phosphorylation occurs only in the presence of kinase enzyme. So any kinase enzyme can phosphorylate the enzyme, whatever enzyme comes nearer to it, the kinase enzyme will go and phosphorylate. Okay, the presence of ATP. So ATP will be converted into ATP, and the enzyme HMG CoA will be phosphorylated. So this occurs through CAMP mediated kinase. Okay, so kinase enzymes will convert this HMG CoA, which is in the active form, will be converted into an inactive form. So in the phosphorylated state, so in the presence of glucagon only, this kinase enzymes will be active. So in the presence of glucagon, HMG CoA reductase will be in the phosphorylated form. So glucagon can activate this kinase enzyme. What is the role of this kinase? It will activate, it will phosphorylate the enzyme. Whatever enzyme comes closer to it, it will phosphorylate. So now the target enzyme is HMG CoA reductase. So if HMG CoA reductase is there, the presence of glucagon, what will happen? This HMG CoA reductase will be converted into its phosphorylated form. Now we know that phosphorylated form is inactive. So in the presence of glucagon, HMG CoA will be in the phosphorylated form, so it will be inactive. Cholesterol biosynthesis will be stopped. Whereas in the presence of insulin, okay, protein phosphatase enzymes will be activated. What is the role of protein phosphatase? To remove the phosphate group. So in the presence of insulin, what is happen? The reverse will happen. It will whatever target enzyme, now the target enzyme is HMG CoA reductase. So it is in the phosphorylated form. So what is the role of this insulin? It will go and activate this protein phosphatase enzyme, which will remove the phosphate group from the enzyme. So if a phosphate group is removed, means the HMG CoA reductase will be converted into a dephosphorylated form. So dephosphorylated form is active form, which will trigger the biosynthesis of cholesterol. Okay, so through that way also it can be activated through hormonal regulation or by sterol mediated gene transcription also. So the cholesterol which are taken up by the cells from lipoproteins, no, that can also decrease the biosynthesis of cholesterol by decreasing the transcription of DNA of the gene HMG CoA reductase enzyme. So through that way also it can be regulated. Okay, so this is the mode of regulation of cholesterol biosynthesis. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe and support the channel Biochemistry DSP.